In this lab, we will continue with the sampling technique methods, and we will also look at some of the cases of finding the confidence interval and making decision. The catering manager of a large Auckland company wishes to conduct a survey using a written questionnaire of employees to gauge satisfaction with food and service provided by the staff cafeteria. He has come to you for advice on how to select the sample. There is an alphabetical employee listing available from Human Resources to help with this. The company employs 1,500 people serviced by the cafeteria, and he thinks a 10% sample, so 10% of 1,500 is 150, is all he could manage. List some examples of sampling and non-sampling errors that could be present in this survey. Sampling error due to surveying only part of the calculation. Sampling bias, example judgment sample. Non-sampling errors could be caused by leading or ambiguous questions. The listing of current staff not up to date, wrong answers supplied, miscounting of or misclassifying responses when summarizing the questionnaire. So the sampling error can be due to surveying only part of the population. Describe in detail how the sample could be selected using simple random sampling, systematic sampling, and cluster sampling. Show the catering manager how random number generator. We'll use random number generator, not the random number tables. Would be used and list the 5 employee numbers which would be selected. So for simple random sampling, number the employees from 0001 to 1500. Then generate 150 random numbers after deleting repetitions. In this range, to identify the chosen employees. Example 0382, 0932, 0809, 0380, 0904. For systematic sampling, divide the total number of employees by the desired sample size to determine the sampling interval. So 1500 divided by 150 equal 10. Then using the random number generator, select a random value from 1 to 10. Example 3. Then select every 10th employee in the list with the random start between 1 to 10, which is 3. So next, so we add 10 to 3 to get the next number, then add 10 to get the next number, then add 10 to get the next number, and add 10 to get the next number. So that way we select the 150 employees. Then cluster sampling. For cluster sampling, we divide the employees in the list into clusters of 10. This is one of the example. And you can also divide the employees into clusters of departments, separate departments. And using the random number generator, select one or two departments, and then from those two departments, select all the employees. So we can divide the employees in the list into clusters of 10. So 1,500 employees divide into clusters of 10, there will be 150 clusters. Then select 15 of the 150 clusters using random numbers. So using random number generator, randomly select 15 of the 150 clusters. Survey all employees within those 15 clusters. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each of the above, and make a recommendation to the catering manager. Simple random sampling gives unbiased estimates, but would be more time-consuming to identify the selected employees. Systematic sampling would be easier to identify employees and should give similar results as the listing. Should random with respect to attitude towards the cafeteria. Clusters will contain people with similar names who could have similar ethnic backgrounds. So the cluster sampling is randomly chosen employees with respect to attitude towards the cafeteria. Clusters will contain people with similar names who could have similar ethnic backgrounds. So this causes bias. I would recommend to the catering manager to use systematic sampling. The catering manager points out that he would like a cross-section of the workforce in his sample. This company's workforce can be classified as operations 850, administration 200, engineering and technical 350, managers and executives 100. So we made let's copy this table. Okay, so the workforce operations has 850 employees. Administration has 200 employees. Engineering and technical has 350 employees. Managers and executives has 100 employees. discuss how you would use stratified sampling in this situation, you listing the first 5 members from each stratum. Divide the listing into strata according to the workforce, and either select a simple random sampling or systematic sampling. Systematic sampling will be in the sampling interval of 10. And 10 is 1,500 employees divided by 150. So systematic sampling for every 10th from each stratum. For example, for operations, select the first number is using the random number generator between and selecting a number randomly using random number generator in the range 1 to 10, and the third 3, then 13th, then 23rd, then 33, then 43. Have a different random start for each stratum. So for admin, we will have a different random start in between 1 and 10, and then we will select the employees in every 10th interval. Apply stratified sampling to the catering manager situation. Identify strata. The catering manager has already identified 4 strata: operations, administration, engineering and technical, and managers and executives. Determine sample size for each stratum. To ensure a cross-section, the sample size for each stratum should be proportional to its size in the overall population. So for operations, we'll label the column, we'll add one more column, sample size of each stratum. So equal, for operations, that will be the number of employees divided by the total number of employees, which is 1,500. So that's the proportion. And we want to select the total of 150 employees. So we will multiply by 150. And that is 85 members from operations stratum. So we will select 85 members from operations stratum. and we will select 20 members from admin stratum. And the total, for engineering and tech stratum, that equals the 350 divided by the 1500 times 150, and that's 35. For management and executive, that will be 100 divided by 1500, then multiplied by 150, and that's equal 10. So um, select samples. Use simple random sampling or systematic sampling to select the required number of employees from each stratum. Example of sample selection using simple random sampling. For operations, assign unique numbers to the 850 employees in the operations department. Use a random number generator to select 85 numbers. The corresponding employees would be included in the sample. For administration, assign unique numbers to the 200 employees in the administration department. Use a random number generator to select 20 numbers. For engineering and technical strata, assign unique numbers to the 350 employees in the engineering and technical department. Use a random number generator to select 35 numbers. Managers and executives, assign unique numbers to the 100 employees in the managers and executives department. Use a random number generator to select 10 numbers. Note: the specific employee numbers selected would depend on the random numbers generated. By using stratified sampling, the catering manager can ensure that his sample includes a representative cross-section of the workforce, allowing him to obtain more accurate and reliable insights into employee satisfaction. The catering manager decided to use stratified sampling and obtained the following percentage satisfaction scores for the 4 groups. Estimate the overall mean satisfaction score for the company. So these numbers, the satisfaction scores, is equal to this percentage these percentages comes from the from here. So to calculate the percentage, that equals 850 divided by 1500. And then for admin, it's 200 divided by equal 200 divided by 1,500. Okay, so the satisfaction score for operations is 58%. The actual number is 850, so the satisfaction score will be equal to 58% of 850. And for administration, it will be 72% of 200. And for engineering and tech, it will be 78% of 350. And for management executive, it will be 92% of 100. And the total of the satisfaction score is 1002. So the catering manager decided to use stratified sampling and obtain the following percentage satisfaction scores for the 4 groups. So estimate the overall mean satisfaction score, and that will be 1000 equal total of this satisfaction score divided by the total employees, and that's 66.8%. After the survey, the catering manager was concerned about non-response error. He was advised to follow up a sample of people who did not respond and get them to complete the questionnaire. A summary of satisfaction scores for initial respondents and non-respondents was. So we have operations department, number surveyed 85, number responding 45, respondents mean score 58%, number non-responded is 85 minus 45 is 40, non-respondent response is 42%. So this is the respondents mean score and the non-respondents mean scores are given. Total for number surveyed is 150. Total for number responding is 85. Total for number non-responding is 65. What was the response rate for this survey? So that equals number responding, total number responding divided by total number surveyed. And we change that to percentage. That's 56.67%.